Scrappy Peeps, Suzanna here today, and I'm sharing with you my layout for the 12 days of holiday scrapping videos. So there are 3 ladies that are doing all 12 days, Audrey, Virginia, and Lorimar, and I am just doing my particular day, and that was the layout that I had to share with you. So this layout is featuring some ThermOWeb as well as the Oh What Fun collection by Pinkfresh Studio. So I'm using this particular paper here as sort of the main inspiration for my layout, and I'm trying to decide. I know I want to use the vertical columns of the frames. They're Instastack frames, it looks like, and I can't decide whether I want to have equal frameage on the left and the right, or if I just want to do what I'm doing here on the left, and so I'm still sort of figuring that out. I do want some of these Insta frames to be windows for my photos, so I've printed my photos wallet size. I actually have 4 small photos, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out 3 of the frames here, and I might leave one of the photos out, but I still haven't fully decided how that's going to go. I'm going to go ahead and skip through the fussy cutting of the other 2 frames. You get the idea. Basically, I use my X-Acto knife and my fussy cut scissors to just open those. I know that is going to be the left-hand side of the page, and I know that I'm going to use these 3 photos. If I'm going to be able to incorporate that 4th photo yet, I'm not quite sure. So what I've done there is I have, that is ThermOWeb. It's the sticky back paper that you can put foil through, and so I'm currently heating up my hot laminator, and I have already cut that using a digital cut file from Just Nick, so Nicole. I've run that through my silhouette already, and I have a tutorial video of that in my video history of how to cut that and what the settings that you want to use for that are. But in the meantime, I am going to go ahead and put these photos behind those frames there. So I love the way that they are framed, and it creates a slightly different look for the layout there. So what I'm trying to gauge there is, am I going to use the rest of the paper that is remaining or just that thin strip? And I'm still not sure, so I'm going to go ahead and work on the rest of the layout. That is foil. That's actually from Gina K. And I'm going to put color side out of the black and then run it through my hot laminator, and that is going to leave a nice gold. It's almost like an iridescent rainbow gold. It's speckled as I run that through the machine to just add some sparkle to my Christmas layout. I don't know, there's something about Christmas and the twinkle of twinkle lights that I always feel like I need to have foil and sparkly things. So I have saved that negative from it because I really liked it, but I don't know what else I'm going to do with it. I set that aside. And so here I'm going to waffle back and forth again as to how I'm going to create balance on the layout with this large title here. This adhesive is really, really tacky. It's great adhesive, and by tacky I mean a strong adhesive. And so you'll see that I struggle with getting it off of the adhesive backing. Not because it's difficult to do. I think part of it is my aging eyesight, and part of it is my stubbornness to not get my tweezers. It'd be so much easier if I just get my tweezers, but I'm that do-it-myself girl. And so, yeah. So I'm going to back each of the 3 different words with a different color from the 6x6 paper pad, and I'm just going to fussy cut that. What I do is I kind of pull up the edge and roll my scissors underneath it, so I'm just on that inside border there, and it's super easy to do, especially if you are using one whole piece for a whole word like that. And just as I did with the frames, I will show you how I'm going to do one of them, and then the other 2 words I will go ahead and skip most of. I could have cut out the inside of the D as well, so you can see the inside of the D is not all entirely there. I am going to peel that off of the sheet, but I liked some of it just being left the way that it was. And really, who pays attention to that kind of thing? I don't. I mean, I do pay attention to the small details, but I'm not going to belittle anybody because they did some of it, but not all of it. So super easy way of just getting that cut file backed. I could have done it in Silhouette Studio, but I will be honest with you, and I will tell you that I frequently will cut out digital cut files, and I will leave them sitting on my desk for a while I contemplate and ponder what photo that's going to go with. I often will have ideas with digital cut files of what I want to do with a file, but not necessarily a photo that's going to go with it. And so this is one of those files. I had cut that black transfer sheet out before I really had an idea of what I was going to do with it. I had no idea it was going to go on this particular layout. So I don't always know what I'm going to cut it with in order to back it, and so that's why I often end up fussy cutting the backing. So for hulls, the 6x6 paper pad wasn't long enough, so I needed to add another strip to the other end of it. Because you had that vertical stripe in the paper, it was super easy to do, and I didn't have to worry about matching design too much. Just had to make sure that they were all still going vertical instead of one going horizontal. And the only reason I point that out is because I have done that before. You forget those smaller details sometimes. So I know that is going to be the large title on my layout there, and I knew I had this paper because I also have this paper in 12 by 12 with the ornaments down the side. And to me, Deck the Halls is really about the hanging of the ornaments, and I really wanted some hanging ornaments, but I don't love it. It's so very busy with those ornaments hanging there. And I had yet at this point, as I was creating, to figure out how I was going to get those ornaments on there. And I actually do get the ornaments on there. I end up fussy cutting them, and that is something that I end up doing off camera. So from that same 6x6 sheet there, I'm going to fussy cut 2 of the ornaments and glue them on, and then just use a gold pen to mimic the same sort of thread that they're hanging from, or ornament hanger. So I have finally settled on the fact that I'm going to just use this one row instead of a partial row and a partial row down that right hand side, just to break up the page a little bit, and that way I can incorporate this 4th photo of my husband. I really wanted a balance of everybody in the family other than me, because I took all the pictures, of course, and so that gave me 2 of my daughter, 2 of my husband, and 2 of my son as well, when you include the 4x3 photo that I am going to include. So you'll see I have yet to decide that this is not what I want. I adhere that down, and it's okay, because with the ThermOWeb adhesive that I use, it comes up pretty quickly, especially if I don't use the liquid adhesive, so I'm using the dot roller there. So that is the 4x3 photo. That is the bottom third of the tree. As we're decorating, we do have an artificial tree that we use, and the boys bring it down from the 3rd floor to our living room. So committed to the title, you will see in the close-ups that some of the gold foil did not transfer through, but that's okay, because Nicholas is wearing that black shirt and then the navy pants. It's nice to have that little bit of black scattered throughout the layout as well, and create some balance in the lights and the darks of the layout there. So I adhere that down, and again, because I've already used the thermo backing to back it with, I do need to actually lay adhesive there. So this is where I decide it really needs a little bit of white space there. There's so much color and so much busyness going on, and I really did want to have somewhere to put journaling and not in one of those boxes, and so that is why I go with one of these little 3x4 cards. So I had the 3x4 card, and then I see these tickets, and I think, oh, maybe the ticket tags will look good, but I really like that red and the same size as the photo, so that the white space just kind of goes around it. So I've pretty much determined what the background of this layout is going to be. I have my title, I have my photos, I have a place for journaling. Now I just need to work on the fine details. Distracted by these 3x4 journaling cards as I go through this and decide that I really like this other card that says joyful moments instead. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. My plan all along was that I was going to type with my We Are Memory Keepers typewriter the journaling in there. So you'll see me adhere it down, but it's only to figure out placement of things more than it is that it's actually going to stay there. So this is more ThermOWeb product. So what I did was I ran that same black transfer sheet through my manual die cut machine with some dies. These are forever old dies, and I honestly don't know who makes them. They're just sitting on some magnetic sheeting. This was before I did design teamwork and needed to know who made things. And then I just ran them through the hot laminator through different shades of green and a little bit of red, and that is how I created that holly and the holly berries that I'm going to put at the end of Halls there. Again, just for a little bit more sparkle, and I like the way that the holly mimics the holly that's on the left-hand side of Halls in that frame there. So it just kind of ties the holly from the left side of the page to the right side of the page there. Again, this is where tweezers come in super handy, working with these smaller pieces, trying to pull them off there. So again, friends, this is part of a series. I am only participating in this particular day, but there are 12 days of Christmas or holiday related layouts. So be sure to check out Audrey's. She's the one who organized this series, as well as Virginia Walker. She's the owner and the designer for Confessions of a Paper Addict, COAPA, and then Lorimar Ortega, and I will also link up their videos in the description box down below. So fun to be able to see how other people are scrapbooking their holidays or memory keeping their holidays. I love that this collection, every year I buy the Pinkfresh Christmas collection. It's different. It's different every year. And I think Geraldine from In a Creative Bubble actually created this collection, and I love her work. I've always supported all of her collections as well. She does a lot of stuff. So she has her own digital elements, and then she also does a lot of stuff for a kit club as well. So I have here the puffy stickers, and I have the ephemera pack, and I'm just going to try and incorporate a few of the little elements into just give a little bit more visual detail to the page, fine detail really. Elements that I'm going to pop off a few of the elements off the page. You saw that little yellow banner said Jingle Bells, and I popped that off of the page. And this cup I am also going to pop, it's a die cut, pop up off the page. One of the things I am going to do off camera is I have a stamp. Actually, they're both stamps from Ellie's Studio from their recent collections, and I'm going to use a yellow, 2 different shades of yellow, and stamp these stars throughout the page. Again, small fine detail, but it adds to the twinkle, and I felt like the page just needed to fill in some of the, you maintain the white space, but you fill the white space. So it's a subtle pattern that is within the white space there, and it is this uniting theme that ties everything together. That little sprig right there of leaves and berries just really pulls this together for me. I don't know what it is. There's something about that dark blue on that diagonal from my son standing by the tree that really just wrap it together. It just sort of, you know how you have a closer? That to me is the closer on this particular layout. So this is actually this year, these photos of us setting up the Christmas tree in late November. I am also going to stamp in that bottom yellow frame on the left hand side a done and then the date November 28th 2020 sort of on repeat stamp. And I'm going to move that tree down lower, again, just for some symmetry and some balance amongst all of the elements. But that, my friends, wraps up another Christmas layout for me. If you have any questions about the ThermOWeb product that I use, please don't hesitate to leave them in the box down below, or anything else that I've done or might have said. And thanks for stopping in today. I hope you're doing well. I hope the month of December is going well for you. Stop back again soon. Take care.